Hi there, guys. So for today's session, we're going to discuss about curriculum development. So I'm your presenter, Mr. Ariel and Loñosa, and this is very important that we have information on the curriculum development. Since we are using it as a teacher, we should know uh, how it is being created and what's the importance of this. So for now, let us identify first on what is a curriculum. So a curriculum is a group of courses offered in a particular field of study. So this is something that we actually use in order for us to convey the information. So if you don't have the curriculum, then what are you going to teach? Okay, so it's very important that we have each field of study have a separate curriculum. Now, it is also offered by an educational institution. Yes, normally offered by an educational institution. And it required to complete in an area of specialization. So it really depends on the specialization. Like in senior high school, if it's for ABM, then all the curriculum is definitely related to accountancy and business management. In college, if your course is about engineering, so most definitely they're going to offer a curriculum related to engineering. Okay. Now, curriculum also often concurs of words such as format, guidelines, contents, what to teach, and what the students needs to learn. Okay, so it could be both formal or informal ways that related to the information that an educator needs to convey. Okay, so that is what we call the curriculum. Now let's talk about the different models on curriculum development. So the first one, we have the subject-centered curriculum design. So this model um, focuses on the subject matter rather than the students. So this is the most common model of standardized curriculum in K to 12. Okay, so when you say subject-centered curriculum, we focus more on the subject. However, how the facilitator or the teacher will going to teach the subject. Okay, so that's the focus of this particular model. Now the second one, we have uh, we have the learner centered, but aside from that, subject centered also focus on the discipline and normally offers in the large university or college classes. For the second model, we have the learner centered curriculum design. So this is revolves around the student needs, unlike the other one. So this empower learners to shape their education or knowledge through the choices based on what they um, choose during the enrollment. Like if they choose ICT, ABM, STEM, or UMS, then the focus is how are you going to impart to them the knowledge related to what the tracks that they are in. Okay, the third one, we call it the problem-centered curriculum design. So this normally looking at a problem and formulate a solution. So this is very important because in terms of the the teachers on how they teach students, okay, so they normally focus on to help students engage in authentic learning activities because they want to expose the students in real life issues and skills. So whenever they depart from the school, then they can definitely survive because they have that skills and ability. Right. Now, referring to the theories, so the first theory that we have, we call it the McDonald's theory. This is the major or value-oriented theorist. So it says here that it is the curriculum defined by him as a social system that actually produces a plan for instruction. So there's always a plan in doing the instructions, and it turns out that within it could be a formal teaching and when the learning actually takes place during the activities on how they're going to deliver that. Now we have the teaching defined as the different from instructions and defined as personality system. So the teacher acting in a particular manner to facilitate learning. So when we say teaching, the teacher will facilitate the learning based on the instructions. And the learning is the personality system too, but the students become involved in specialized task related behaviors. So when we say learning, there is um, a different task involves on or activities so that the students will be able to learn from it. This is what McDonald's theory all about. The second theory, we have the curriculum development by Brown. So, according to him, the curriculum development is a series of activities that contribute to the growth and consensus of the staff, the faculty, the administrations, and the students. So, in general, so he talks about the general growth. It also explains that the series of curriculum activities will provide a framework and help teachers to accomplish whatever goals or combination of teaching activities which are suitable for the students to in order for them to help in the learning and teaching process to make it more effective as possible. Okay, that is the theory according to Brown. Now, what are the different factors in creating curriculum, either for basic or higher education? Now, we have this figure here that shows the steps. The first one, there should always a belief. Of course, the theory based on the study and the concept, point of view, and the objectives or goals. And then what platforms are they going to use? And from there is a deliberation. So based on the concept, they're going to deliberate if if the curriculum will be applicable in a practical situation in terms of arguing, accepting, refusing, if they need to change or if it's easily adaptable. And from there, they're going to design it. So they make a final decisions about the various process and components. So that's how they're going to do it. And also, they should always consider the learning objectives. And then the formative and the summative assessments and the course contents. So it says here, learning objectives indicate what the students will accomplish by the end of the lesson. Formative assessment measures students' ability to meet the learning objectives, and thus the course contents allow students to accomplish the learning objectives. So they should always look at that perspective. And of course, if they should also take a look at the this particular consideration in terms of the contents, administrations, how they gauge the assessments, the pre-existing, and the current in understanding the course concepts, and determining on what the students have learned in terms of the different assessment, the results. Okay, and whenever we conclude that the curriculum needs to revise, we should always consider the society and culture in the educational community and responsibilities in terms of the educational program. So these are the basis, and then the educational programming, the content, the methods of instructions. So those are the things that we should consider, or the basis rather, if the curriculum needs to revise. All right. Another thing is the change in the forms of transitioning educational curriculum. And if there's a controversial at first, and we need to revise it if some part of the curriculum is no longer efficient to the students or learners. So those are the things that we should consider, or the basis in the curriculum revision. Now we have the three activities in terms of the evaluation. So the first one is the curriculum evaluation, student assessment, assessment of learning outcomes in a specific content areas. So it says here, curriculum evaluation should be guided through an analytical schema to plan the evaluation of the curricula. So they should have a planning period. The assessment, there should be a participants to examine the student's assessment in terms of the curriculum materials, and then the outcomes. If the assessment of learning outcomes are analyzed based on the contents, right? And then we should also identify that the fundamental concern of the curriculum, in terms of the evaluation, are, of course, effectiveness and efficiency of translating government education policy into educational practice. So how are they going to integrate that? And then the status of the curriculum contents and practices in context of either global, national, and local concerns. And then the achievement of goals and aims of educational program. Now we have guide questions for curriculum revision. The first one, we should determine the success of the curriculum revision process, if it's going to be successful, where the specific factors had a significant impact on whether or not the revision project was successful, and if the teachers have a strong views on the process of curriculum revision process. Number four, if the teacher attitude or backgrounds have an impact on the success or failure of the education revision procedures. Number five, if the revision procedures have an influence. Okay, you should always remember that. And number six, the effect, if any, for the pre-service training on the revision process, if they have that knowledge in doing the revision process. And then seven, the factors should be identified and generalized to the other programs. Okay, that's it for the revision. Now let's talk about the features of K-12 curriculum in the Philippines. So when we say K-12, this is from kindergarten and the 12 years of the basic education, consisting of 6 years of primary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school program. This is to provide sufficient time for mastery of concepts and skills. Normally, it is practiced by international schools to develop lifelong learners and prepare graduates for college, tertiary education, and development. Prepare them for development and employment, as well as so they have skills in terms of the business entrepreneurship. So that is the curriculum development. Features of the K-12 curriculum. Now here it is for the figures. So we have 6 years primary education, 4 years junior high school, senior high school 2 years. Now the different features, the salient features. First, we have strengthening early childhood education, making the curriculum relevant to learners, the contextualization and enhancement. We have ensuring integrated and seamless learning. This is about the spiral progression. Building proficiency through language, mother tongue based multilingual education. Gearing up for the future. This is senior high school. Nurturing the holistic development for college, livelihood, and readiness. So let's talk about it one by one. So when we say strengthening early childhood education, so this talks about the education for children in the early years as part of the foundation for lifelong learning and total development of a child. So it's very important that as early as possible, we're able to teach the child on the lifelong learnings. So let's say about alphabet, numbers, shapes, colors. This is normally the first information that they need to study as early as kindergarten, the primary school. So through games, songs, and dances in their mother tongue. So they use mother tongue at the beginning. Number two, making the curriculum relevant to learners. So this is the contextualization and enhancement. So the students will acquire in-depth knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes through continuity and consistency across all levels in subjects. So with the different subjects, they were able to gain the knowledge and skills, the values, and develop the attitude. And it continues to the different levels. And then building a proficiency through language. So it started from the mother tongue and based on the multilingual education. So it depends on the regions that you're in. So they're going to use the mother tongue as their initial language for teaching. And from there, they will slowly introduce other language like English and Filipino, starting from grade one with a focus on oral proficiency, fluency. So from grade 4 to 6, they're going to introduce English and Filipino gradually. For both will become primary and for both primary language of instructions in junior high and senior high school. And then number four, ensuring integrated and seamless learning. So this is the spiral progression that we're talking about. So the subject are taught from the simplest concepts to more complex or complicated through the grade levels of in spiral program. So they started from the easiest one up to the difficult subjects like biology, geometry, earth, science, chemistry, and algebra. So this is to ensure the mastery of knowledge and skills after each levels. Okay. And number five, gearing up for the future. So this is for the senior high school where they offered the different specialized subjects, right? Up for this is we call it the upper secondary educations. So it based on their aptitude, interest, and school capacity, and also it involves the different core curriculum or specific tracks. So we have the core curriculum. So it involves the learning areas like language, literature, communication, math, philosophy, natural science, and social sciences. So it could be a current content from the general education subjects which are embedded to senior high school curriculum. Now we have the different tracks. The academic track, we have technical, vocational, and livelihood, and the sports track. So talking about the academic, it involves three strands: the business, accountancy, and management, or ABM, or accountancy and business management. We have the humanities, social science, educations, and we have the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And for the TVET, the technical vocational education and training, so they will be able to get the national certificate after finishing grade 10. So this is very important because they have the actual skills that they can use whenever they would like to work after grade 12, so they can definitely use the certificate that they acquired. Okay. So in general, curriculum development is very important in our education system since all individuals started in studying and ended up by having a jobs or making a business out of what they have learned from their studies, starting from kindergarten up to senior high school. So it's important that they have a strong foundation of education as the beginning for them to survive well and become successful. Right? That's it for the curriculum development. Now, these are my resources that I used for this presentation. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you're able to learn something from it. I would also like to hear your comments, suggestions, and uh, your opinion about the subject matter. Thank you so much.